So I hope all of you enjoy the lecture and stay awake. I will do my best to do that. And shall we begin? Okay. So tell me something. Which is the most important organ in your body? Most important. All are important. Is important. So basically, it is like there is, if your brain dead, still you are alive. So to stay alive, heart is most important because you can do without a brain. And if you see the political situation today, we know most of the people are voters are brainless. So with all apologies to Sumanji, sorry, I wouldn't mention anything. So Sumanji, here I'm very glad he's here today and it's so inspiring.
Exceptions are always there.
It is so inspiring to have him here today because I don't know how many people of you know he is the one because of whom this council actually got formed.
And both of us wrote that manifesto.
So yeah, I hope you understand how important that is, and because of this we are having this CAE. So let us go ahead. So what is the most biggest problem that people face? Heart is there, but people don't appreciate any organ unless there is some problem with it. And heart attack is such a problem that it's often too late to appreciate the heart. A lot of people actually die of heart attack. Some people are lucky they survive. Some people aren't so lucky. So it is very important that we understand this of our body properly and appreciate it and do everything in our endeavor, whatever we can, to keep it healthy. So I hope we can do that after this lecture is over. So, yeah. So what is a heart attack? How does it happen? It happens when the artery supplying blood to the heart gets blocked partially, and it reduces either partially or basically partially or completely. But in this case, when it is blocked partially, then what happens? A person is lucky. Then he can just get away with having weakness, dyspnea, and angina, right? That is a lucky person whose arteries are only partially blocked. And if there is a complete block, then what happens is that part of the heart muscle, which that particular artery is supplying, that gets blocked completely, then a person gets death of that part of the heart muscle. This is what is called heart attack. Whereas if it is partially blocked only, what you get is weakness, dyspnea, and angina, right? There is pain in the heart. You want to walk for like 10 rounds, but after maximum half round or 1 round, you are panting. So you want to sit down. You sit down for some time, and after some time again, you are fine. You can again walk, and this time you can walk little more than what you walked the first time. Then again you sit down. Then again you walk more. So this is how a partial block works. A partial block causes ischemia in the heart, but that ischemia in turn triggers certain arteries in the heart known as the collaterals to open, and when they open, you are able to do better than before. Right? You all heard this word, collaterals? Yes. Right. So many people have complete blockages in certain arteries, but they don't have a complete death of that muscle, and they are able to get along with what is known as collaterals. So if a person gets, now it's a question of degree. What degree of the heart muscle has died in that heart attack? If that degree is a very large degree, then the person can even die, because then the heart just stops. It's not able to pump. The pumping is not capable of sending blood to the brain or any other organ, to the lung, to the brain, nothing. The heart just fails. And that failure if not treated immediately with your CPR and other stuff, the person cannot survive, right? So that's why it's important. In the last CIE I attended, there was a session on CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So it's very important that every person learns these techniques so that you can save people in emergencies. Of course, in acupuncture, we have our own points, the Zingwell points of the heart. And if you just bleed them and all, you can revive the person even if a person has just had a fresh heart attack. So all this thing, plus we should always take the best of every field. So the modern medicine has given us CPR, we should use that also, along with our techniques. And we should also not forget to call the ambulance so that the person can be shifted to the hospital as soon as possible. You may go along with the person, giving him acupressure and other things, but make sure that the person reaches the hospital as soon as possible. There are, of course, instances when complete recovery happens just with acupuncture. That is possible, but we should not take the risk. We should always play safe, right? So what are these coronary arteries which we are talking about that get blocked? So you see a little bit of anatomy revision right now. So this is the whole heart. You see it's a little obliquely placed. The upper parts are the auricles and below are the ventricles. And in between there's kind of a groove which divides the right and the left parts. So between the atrium and the ventricle, there is this groove in which the artery of the heart starts. And it is like there is a right coronary artery and a left coronary artery. Left coronary artery divides further into a circumflex artery and a anterior descending artery, a left anterior descending artery. LAD it is called. So on the right side also you have the branches of the right coronary artery. But the thing is that the left one is more dominant usually. There are very few cases in which the right artery is dominant, because the left atrium is a very big muscle compared to the left ventricle is a much thicker muscle compared to the right ventricle. So it requires far more blood supply than the right ventricle. And that is why the left coronary artery is the more important one. So even if a person has a complete block of the right coronary artery, sometimes there is no problem because the left coronary artery supplies blood to the right side through collaterals, and which is enough for a person to get along in life without a problem. So our topic for today is ischemic heart disease. And what is ischemic heart disease? When there is a gradual buildup of fatty deposits inside the arteries that supply blood to the heart muscle, that is the coronary arteries, it causes a reduction in blood flow to the ventricles and the atrium. So these fatty deposits gets covered up. So basically what happens is you can see over here. So you can see this is a normal healthy artery and this is a blocked. So what has happened in the blocked artery? So inside there is a layer of what is called as endothelium, the inner lining. Now the blockage happens just under this endothelium. The fatty deposits go and get deposited in the just under the endothelial lining of the blood artery. And this is what happens. It's not like some fat has just gotten stuck up there, which you can just like use some detergent and remove. It's not like that. Okay? Otherwise it would be very easy, right? Just inject some chemical which can just dissolve the fat and you're cleared. No, it doesn't happen like that. What happens, why that doesn't happen? Because there is a lining of endothelium. That is, it's just like what you have a mucus lining in your mouth. Something like that is there in the arteries, which covers this up. So this fatty layer which has got deposited is covered over by endothelium. It's a thin layer of cells which lines the arteries, the veins, all of them are covered with this endothelium. So what exactly causes a heart attack? So a heart attack, endothelium of the heart is meant to facilitate the smooth flow of blood, right? So you have a pipe and you have something, a gooey liquid flowing through it. So what is important here? It has to be smooth. So the endothelium provides smoothness. It allows the blood, which is so full of different things, it contains proteins, it contains red corpuscles, white corpuscles, so many things. It's quite a turbid liquid. And that has to flow very smoothly. So how is it possible? Because of the smoothness of the endothelium. That smoothness is a very crucial factor. And that is what we need to take care of. So when this endothelium gets damaged, a clot develops. So when the endothelium gets damaged, or the plaque develops there, and that plaque is what narrows the the lumen of this. This is a cut section. It's a vertical cut section, not horizontal. Horizontal would have shown you like a circle where you would see narrowing, but this is a vertical section. And here what you can see is that on the sides, the endothelium has got damaged and different shapes, different very irregular shape of plaque has got formed over here. Okay, got it. So when this endothelium over here, you can see how irregular it has become because of the plaque. And now imagine that there is a very fast flowing fluid over it, a very turbid fluid flowing above it. So what will happen if there are fluctuations in the blood pressure at this time? Then this endothelium slide, the very irregularly formed, it can get destroyed because there is so much flow over it, like the potholes that we have, and your car is going. So what can happen? The pothole also can get damaged, not just your car, right? So it is like damaging the potholes in the artery. When there is fluctuations of blood supply, even these irregular plaques, they get damaged. And what happens when they get damaged? This is the most crucial thing. When they get damaged, this plaque, this fatty layer, it gets exposed. The endothelium is gone. It flows away. And now, what happens to you? When you get a cut, you get a scrape. What happens if you're moving around and you're not careful and just scrape your hand against something or your knee, most common? What happens? Yeah. So what happens? First a clot forms on that area, right? So that clot is the most crucial thing. When this clot gets formed, this clot, see in your body on the surface, what happens once it is, when a clot is formed, no more blood can come out, right? The clot itself is blocking. But what about this area? Now the clot even after forming is exposed to the blood. So more and more clot forms. And when that clot forms in such a degree that it completely occludes the lumen, that's when a heart attack happens. So this is the main thing. So what is the crucial thing here? What happened first? The endothelium got destroyed. Endothelium getting destroyed, a clot will form. Unless, of course, you are on a heavy dose of anticoagulants, which can help you to prevent that. But otherwise, if you are not on anticoagulants, if you have a normal clotting and bleeding time, then this can get completely occluded because a big clot will form over there. And that is what causes the heart attack. That is what can make a person a bit invalid in life, or sometimes if he's not lucky enough, he can even quit the world, right? Yeah. So when that happens, wherever there is a complete block, you can see here, this part is showing a complete clot, and this part, what is beyond that artery, this is completely dead. This muscle is completely dead. Now, if this was a major, this is little minor thing, but if it was a major artery and way up, if this had happened, you would have a large area of the heart muscle dying. And when that happens, and there is no one around who knows CPR and other things to keep him alive, then the person leaves the world. So now what are the causes of plaques? Yeah? Anyone? I should have been an examiner. You put up the answer and then you ask the question. But you should know there's something called trick question. Right? Do you think this is the right answer?
No.
This is the standard answer. The standard answers are not necessarily right. So, why they are not right? What is wrong? Isn't it true that people with high cholesterol and high lipid, triglycerides, they are sitting ducks for heart attack? Is it not so? It is? How many say yes? Who says that cholesterol is the most important cause of heart attack? Not a single one. How many? One. How many more? So good student is one who understands the trick question. That's the best. So basically this is what modern medical science has been reeling under, this misconception, and because of which many good people lost their lives. So this is what people have been considering, and because of this, what has gone wrong, I will tell you later. What has gone wrong because of this understanding. So it has been seen that blockages occur in spite of low lipid levels, and many persons with high lipid levels do not have any blockages. So how do you explain this? One hand you are saying that cholesterol and triglycerides are the cause of heart attack, high when they are high level. On the other hand, you are saying it's not always true. There are many people with blockages who don't have high cholesterol, high triglycerides. So why they have blockages? Anyone? Pardon?
Because of recurrent clots due to high blood pressure.
Okay.
So the ratio between HDL and
That was a good answer. Yeah.
So the ratio between the HDL is the mean also. That is high than
But in spite of everything, having a very optimum level of cholesterol, lipid levels, people still have. I have seen people with good high HDL still have, and thin people. Not even. So, yeah. So we'll come to that. Good. So yeah, in the first you answered that because of many clots. So what is the reason for those clots?
Damage of endothelium, this layer, because of the high blood pressure, capillary, small capillaries burst inside, like that.
Okay. So I hope you have not attended my lecture before. Good. Then very good. Very nice. You deserve a prize. So let us see why it happens. So now this. Tell me which of these two people is going to have a heart attack for sure earlier. Which among them? Eventually everyone dies of heart attack only. Any old man who dies of 110 years also dies of heart attack only. So forget, heart attack is going to happen. So which of these two is going to have That was a very nice answer, because mostly people would have said this person is going to have, and then I would have some chance to say something. So, as I said, there is no real correlation between the levels of fat in your body and the risk of heart attack. Because this person, I mean, to reach this level of, obviously is not muscle, he's full of fat. So this person must be having so much fat in his body. How did he, if high fat levels were the cause of heart attack, how did he even reach this level? Long before he should have died, no? Should have died long before. Why? How did he even reach this level? Not possible. So that means this kind of a thing itself proves that people can reach these levels of fattiness. That itself proves that there is no direct correlation between the high fat levels and the heart attack. Because to reach, okay, you may say that it is all deposited fat, it is subcutaneous, it is this and that. It is not high in the blood. But for it to go here, the passage is through the blood only, right? Yeah. And imagine how much he must be eating to keep this level. That means immediately post meal, how much must be his fat level? And at that time, why doesn't he have a heart attack immediately? He doesn't. That's how he reaches this level. So this person, this photo itself proves that there is no real correlation between the high lipid levels and the risk of heart attack or blockages. So now brace yourself for a very shocking thing. How many of you believe in God over here? So put your hands up, I can't. You think God is all good? Sure, very good. You think God will make you in such a way that ये आदमी को मैं ऐसा बनाऊंगा कि ये हार्ट अटैक से ही मरेगा. You think he'll do that? No? Anyone? Anyone thinks he'll do that? Okay, good. Thank you. So now you tell me. So the heart receives ingested fat in the form of chyle through the thoracic duct. Anyone understanding what is happening here? Your body has been designed to directly send all the fat that you are eating directly to the heart. अभी क्या बोलेगा? हे भगवान, और क्या बोल सकते? Receives ingested fat in the form of chyle through the thoracic duct. We'll see what the thoracic duct is in the next slide. Till then, just let us read this. Entering the left subclavian vein, which enters the superior vena cava and then right atrium. Thoracic duct is formed from the lymphatic tributaries in the small intestine. So tributaries means like small rivulets. Like a river is never just directly becomes. It's small springs and all, they come together and a big river forms like that. So small tributaries, lymphatic tributaries, they go together and they make what is called the thoracic duct. And generally the nutrients absorbed in the intestine, otherwise other things, your glucose, your protein, amino acids, whatever, they go to the liver via the portal vein. However, fats bypass this route and go straight to the heart. अभी कौन बिलीव करता है गॉड पे? कम हो गया, बहुत कम हो गया. पहले 100% था, अभी 5-10% पे आ गया. डोंट वरी, मेरा भी यही हुआ था. So that means the heart is designed to directly receive fat from food and bypass the liver. So at first glance it appears body was designed to have a heart attack. मैं तो हिल गया था, आपका मालूम नहीं. मैं हिल गया था 2-3 दिन. मैं तो ऐसा मीन्स बहुत गॉड कर रहा था. बाद में अभी क्या बोलूं मैं, ये क्या हो गया? तो मैं तो पूरा हिल ही गया था. फिर मैं बोला नहीं, काफी बहुत कुछ किया था, मेडिटेशन ये वो, बहुत बुक्स पढ़े थे. इतना मैं बोला वो क्या बोलते हैं बॉन्ड का, स्टर्ड बट नॉट, क्या बोलते हैं, शेकन
stirred
बट
but-
नॉट स्टर्ड और समथिंग,
Stirred but not
स्टर्ड
shaken.
बट नॉट शेकन, वैसा हो गया. काफी हिल गया लेकिन पूरा नहीं हिला, थोड़ा फेथ था अभी भी. मैं बोला थोड़ा रिसर्च करते हैं वहां. सो आई डिड सम मोर रिसर्च. एनाटॉमी में ये मिला. एनाटॉमी मेरा अच्छा था लेकिन फिजियोलॉजी में ज्यादा आई वॉज बेटर. मतलब फिजियोलॉजी पढ़ते हैं थोड़ा, हाँ? कुछ तो होगा, भगवान बच जाएगा. तो ये है अपना thoracic duct, सुपर विलन. आजकल कौन सा सुपर विलन चल रहा है? कौन से मूवीज होते हैं वो? व्हाट आर दोस फ्रेंचाइज होते हैं कुछ, क्या बोलते हैं, एवेंजर ये वो.
Thanos.
तो ये मेरे लिए ये था कि ये सुपर विलन है. भगवान ने शैतान को ही डाल के भेजा अंदर, वो लिविंग टाइम बॉम्ब. ये है thoracic duct. ये ऐसा जाता है, यहाँ फॉर्म होता है. It gets formed of the lacteals, then it goes up, goes and gets joined to the left subclavian vein, which becomes joins with the right side subclavian vein and becomes superior vena cava. ये डायरेक्टली आपके हार्ट के अंदर, राइट एट्रियम के अंदर सीधा जाके सारा फैट इधर डाल देता है. ये है वो विलन. तो फिर then I said let me study more. So what I did, I studied physiology. What did physiology tell me? Actually heart muscle is designed to use only fat as its fuel and not glucose or glycogen. अभी आ गया फेथ वापिस. अभी कौन सा कितने लोग बिलीव कर रहे हैं गॉड में? Still? We still do, but अभी हाथ ऊपर करो ना फिर. अरे देखो अभी 90% वापिस. So 90% वापिस आ गया, thank God. So this is now clear that the heart thrives on fat and fat is what keeps the heart pumping. In fact, physiology से मुझे ये पता चला कि fat is the main fuel of the heart, right? जैसे लोग गाड़ियाँ होती है, पेट्रोल की गाड़ियाँ, फॉरगेट गाड़ी में नहीं डालता कोई, स्कूटर पेट्रोल की है, लेकिन लोग क्या करते हैं, केरोसिन से वे चला लेते हैं, राइट? यू सीन, गाँव में तो चलता है. So even though fat is the main fuel, it in emergency कभी डालते हैं, ऐसे पेट्रोल नहीं मिला तो अभी चलाना है ना, तो केरोसिन डाल देंगे. तो when fat is not available, when the heart is beating very fast, at that time if there is not enough time to actually metabolize the fat, at that time the heart uses glucose. तो खाली इमरजेंसी में ग्लूकोज यूज होता है, not at other times. Normally heart works on fat, and that is why God made this. Okay? तो ये है काइलोमाइक्रोन साइकिल. ये किस को इसका अंडरस्टैंड करना है, शॉर्ट में के फुल में के डिटेल में? फुल डिटेल 2-3 आती है, जाने दो मतलब. सो इन शॉर्ट बता देता हूँ. बेसिकली काइलोमाइक्रोन साइकिल क्या होता है कि देयर इज अ सर्टेन फैट कॉल्ड एपोलाइपोप्रोटीन, जो ये सब फैट को इकट्ठा करके हार्ट में डिपॉजिट करके लिवर में जाके उसको मेटाबोलाइज करके वापस आ जाता है. तो हार्ट में से फैट अभी लिवर में जाएगा और मेटाबॉलिज्म उधर होता है. जो भी फैट हार्ट में यूज नहीं होता वो नेचुरली जाएगा ना हार्ट में. हार्ट इज सेंडिंग ब्लड टू एवरी ऑर्गन, राइट? तो लिवर इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ इट. सो लिवर इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द मेटाबॉलिज्म ऑफ फैट. हार्ट यूजेस इट, लिवर मेटाबोलाइजेस इट एंड स्टोर्स इट. दैट्स हाउ यू गेट फैटी लिवर. फैटी लिवर कैसे होता है? वो फैट जाके बैठ जाता है लिवर में. इफ द लिवर इज नॉट स्ट्रॉन्ग इनफ. व्हाई डज दैट हैपन? उसके लिए अपने को क्या जानना चाहिए? सर आज बता रहे थे 5 एलिमेंट साइकिल, कंट्रोलिंग, वो सब. विल कम टू दैट. व्हेन द स्लाइड कम्स ऑफ दैट विल डिस्कस इन डिटेल. So real cause of plaque formation is, as that lady said, is the cause because of break in the endothelium. So what happens? Break हो गया तो it's due to roughness of the surface of the endothelium. एंडोथेलियम है लेकिन वो ब्रेक होने के कारण रफनेस डेवलप हुआ है, एंड नॉट सिंपली ड्यू टू हाई लेवल ऑफ लिपिड इन द ब्लड. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर विथ मी राइट नाउ? Others don't agree? I see only 5-6 hands up. Clear? Right. Good. So roughness is caused by dryness, right? आपके पास अपने सैंड पेपर और बटर पेपर जानते हो आप? सैंड पेपर, बटर पेपर. All anybody doesn't know what is butter paper or sand paper? Okay. So sand paper पे अगर हम बटर डाल दें तो क्या होगा? मैं सैंड पेपर पे बटर का एक अमूल बटर का एक टुकड़ा डाल देता हूँ और आपको बोलता हूँ साफ करो, होएगा? बटर पेपर के डाल के दिया तो चिपकेगा ही नहीं, इसलिए तो उसको बटर पेपर बोलते हैं ना. क्या होता है वो डिफरेंस? बटर पेपर स्मूथ होता है, सैंड पेपर रफ होता है. सैंड पेपर पे बटर डाल दिया, खत्म, कुछ भी करो आप निकलेगा नहीं वो, राइट? ओके, so now we come to the topic. अभी तक तो इंट्रोडक्शन चल रहा है. वो होता है ना, पिक्चर दिखाते हैं शुरू में इतना, बाद में फिर टाइटल आता है, फिर ये आते हैं, सब नाम आते हैं, प्रोड्यूसर, डायरेक्टर, एक्टर. मैं बोलता है भाई इतना टाइम क्यों वेस्ट किया, पहले ही बोलता था ना, मैं ये टाइम से चालू करता. So now the real picture is starting. Causation of heart disease as per acupuncture science. So in acupuncture we know that emotions are causative factors. Yes or no?
Yes.
Sir has beautifully explained in the morning so many things, right? And heart is the seat of emotion.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
How do you know?
दिल दुखता है.
दिल धड़कता है. So जब भी when you see something nice, your heart beat, it increases, दिल धड़कने लगता है. And when you see something boring, slow down हो जाता है एकदम slow. So and heart is heat energy, fire. Heart is fire, which means heat energy, and sadness is a drying energy. Right? Sadness is metal. Metal is dry. Right? So when there is emotional dryness, it creates a dry situation in the heart, which causes fat to deposit and creates blockages. So जब भी आपके हार्ट के अंदर इस तरह का सिचुएशन हो जाता है, तब आपको ब्लॉकेजेस होते हैं. किस किस को ब्लॉकेजेस है इधर? So this is the most dangerous thing in your heart, dryness.
Mike.
Therefore,
आवाज.
oh sorry. So the most dangerous emotion is not anger, it is sadness. सैडनेस में तो लोग जाके सीधा सुसाइड ही कर देते, वो यानी एंगर में तो नहीं करते. सैडनेस इज द मोस्ट डेंजरस इमोशन. बी वेरी बिवेयर ऑफ दिस इमोशन. इससे दूर रहो. कभी भी आपको लगे कि जरा ज्यादा ही सैडनेस हो रहा है, जस्ट डू एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग एंड गेट आउट ऑफ इट. ओके, डोंट अलाउ दिस टू टेक ओवर यू. So when there is emotional dryness, it creates dry situation in the heart and causes roughness of endothelial lining, which causes fat to deposit and create blockages, like a sandpaper attracting the butter. And fat is earth, which is the son of fire. Since fire is weakened by excess of earth, as per mother-son law, so fat भी important है. मैंने पहले बोला fat है ही नहीं important, but now I'd like to say fat important है, but not most important. लोग फैट को मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट, ज्यादा ही इम्पोर्टेंट दे रहे थे कि फैट नहीं खाने का. देर वर पीपल हु आर डूइंग रिवर्सिंग हार्ट डिजीज वाले सेमिनार्स, बिग लॉट ऑफ मनी इन्वॉल्व, लैक्स ऑफ रुपीज.
अभी
And-
देसी घी in Lonavala.
5%.
I'm talking of that period.
Yeah.
Now people are on a different level. So that time, 25 years back when I first said that fat is not responsible for heart attack, there were people ready to attack me. मानने को तैयार नहीं कैसे बोला ऐसा बोला कैसे फिर 10 साल के बाद 10 या 15-20 साल के बाद न्यूज़पेपर में आया scientists have found that there is no direct correlation between the fat and the heart attack and the heart blockage फिर मानने लगे लोगों को थोड़ा न्यूज़पेपर में आने के बाद ही समझ में आते नहीं तो नहीं रहते लॉजिक कितना भी यूज करो आप so now let us come to acupuncture ये भी without this you can't give acupuncture seminar ये मेन है इसके बिना कुछ नहीं होने वाला so where are we are here right heart is over here now heart को कौन नरिश कर रहा है liver हमने क्या बोला था liver metabolizes fat अगर बहुत ज्यादा हो गया तो फिर ब्लॉकेज हो सकता है अगर आपके हार्ट में ड्राइनेस है तो अगर आपके हार्ट में ड्राइनेस नहीं है आप जितना चाहे फैट खाओ कुछ नहीं होने वाला आपको लेकिन जो ड्राइनेस जो है बराबर है इज दिस स्टेटमेंट ट्रू नो व्हाई बिकॉज सन ऑफ फायर इज अर्थ एंड दैट फैट इज दिस कैटेगरी फैट इज अर्थ और सर ने क्या बोला आज सुबह अगर सन पावरफुल हो जाता है तो मदर को ड्रेन कर देता है तो अगर फैट ज्यादा ही हो गया बहुत ज्यादा हो गया तो आपके फायर को वो ड्रेन करने वाला है
is Hindi and translates to it drains or it makes some.
so if you have too much fat so much that it destroys the fire like वो हम लोग यज्ञ करते हैं राइट तो हम लोग उसमें घी डालते हैं क्या होता है फायर भड़कती है लेकिन बहुत सारा पूरा बाटली लेके डाल दिया फिर क्या होता है आग बुझ जाती है तो इसलिए बी केयरफुल डोंट जस्ट पहला पार्ट लेक्चर का सुना है सर ने बोला है कि फैट इज नॉट रिस्पॉन्सिबल चलो जाके एक पूरा जार घी का ले घी आजकल बहुत फॉर्म में है देसी घी A2 देसी घी तो पूरा एक बाटली में पी जाता हूँ बहुत अच्छा रहेगा एकदम सब स्मूथ हो जाएगा तो इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट सो यू नीड टू बी केयरफुल एवरीथिंग हैज टू बी डन इन मॉडरेशन स्कूल में हमको सिखाया था बहुत अच्छी तरह से सिखाया था यू हैव टू हैव प्रोटीन्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स एंड फैट्स इन अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोपोर्शन बाद में पता नहीं some very brilliant scientists came up with no fat is bad, cholesterol is the villain, like that, and we stopped having fat, right? How many people stopped having fat?
We all are smart. We all are smart.
So acupuncturists are smart, and that's why they are acupuncturists. If they were not smart, then so that is why nowadays many people are having problems in various things like people have problem with the nerves. Nerves are covered with what?
Myelin sheath.
Myelin sheath, which is made of what?
Fat.
Phospholipids. So fat is responsible there. Then fat is responsible for every kind of lining, every cell ka lining fat is part of it. So if that is not there, people develop all types of problems. Lubrication becomes less in their body. They develop arthritis. Ayurveda says that kapha keeps vata under control. Right? If you don't have kapha, your vata is going to increase, and that's what happens. And as people grow older, they have less and less fat because they think now I'm old. How can I digest fat? Let me give up fat, and then they become old very fast because now they can hardly walk. All the creaky noises and they just cannot, their limbs get all stiff. So because of giving up wrong understanding, having too much confidence in modern medicine than in our age-old tradition of having a proper amount of fat every day and the good fats. right? Good fats and bad fats, we'll discuss that later. So, you have fire here, earth here, you have metal here. Now this metal, which is symbolizing the dryness and also the sadness, when this can insult fire, when it is in excess. Some metal is responsible, where is required, because metal is what gives you grit. Metal is what gives you the willpower. Metal is what keeps you in a kind of a shape, as well as it makes you have borders. A person who doesn't have metal has no borders. He can do anything, everything. Has no discipline, basically.
So like
So
boundaries.
metal has boundaries. So metal gives you discipline. So metal is important. It keeps things in shape, including your mind. So metal is important, but when excess, what it causes? Dryness, and we already saw what dryness can do. So what exactly does sadness do? Sadness reduces pumping of heart directly by lowering metabolism and indirectly by increased vagal tone. So it is known that people who are depressed, their vagal tone is increased. Vagus nerve is there. You know that parasympathetic, sympathetic. So vagus is parasympathetic and it slows down things. So it slows down the heart rate also. In depressed people, this vagal tone is increased. So depression causes increase in vagal tone and heart rate reduces. So when heart rate reduces, now tell me one thing, if you have a petrol car and you're driving it, when will you use more petrol? When you're driving slow or when you're driving fast? So, yeah, other than the gears, car has got gear where the first gear and second gear use more petrol. But on the other hand, if you are driving fast, you are getting more mileage. At the same amount of petrol, you're driving fast and you're actually using more petrol if you are driving faster. But if you're driving I'm not talking of first and second gear, but within the other gears like third, fourth, fifth, which one will you use more petrol? First, second is just like starting the thing. It's a very good answer, but it is not what we are expecting here, because when something is working faster, it's obviously going to use more fuel, right? Than something which is working slower. So when the heart rate becomes low, then it obviously uses less fat, right? So that when you're going to accumulate more fat, and the fat is first entering your heart, so where will the first accumulation be? Fat. So if you keep your heart rate high, you're going to use more fat than if you keep it low. Anyone wants to disagree?
So that line is do.
Exactly. That is exactly the thing. Why do you do cardio? What is cardio? When you do cardio, you take your heart rate to a level which is something like 200 minus your age, which is considered optimal for your age. What will happen if you do more than that? More than that, will your heart will start using glucose. No use. So you are going to raise your heart rate up to a maximum level of the optimum level, which is determined by minusing your heart age from the figure 200. So at that rate, it has been seen that scientists have done research and they found that at this time, the maximum benefit of cardio exercises is obtained. That means what? That means maximum fat is burned, right? So, okay, acupuncture. So this is the treatment as per acupuncture. It is there in your notes. So this is what you have to do. What you have to do to treat a person with ischemic heart disease? You have to sedate dryness and tonify heat in the heart. Sedate dryness point, tonify heat point. Right? Also, simultaneously, this will work directly on the heart muscle, because this is important, because many people I have seen who have ischemic heart disease, their ECG is showing problem, but their angiography is not showing anything. Anyone can explain? The arteries are not blocked, but the heart is not receiving enough muscle. Heart muscle is not receiving enough blood supply. Why is that?
The volume is less, quantity is less in the body. Right.
Anyone?
Fat is less, that's why heart muscles are not getting enough energy.
Fat is less.
And due to less fat intake.
Mainly, the ECG shows that the heart is in stress because of lack of oxygen. So why is that? Why is the heart muscle not receiving enough oxygen despite the arteries not being blocked?
That is because respiration is not up to the optimum level. So the breathing pattern is not great.
So yeah, okay. The proper answer for this is because not all the heart is not receiving blood only because of the main coronary arteries. What we saw, in fact, those arteries become smaller and smaller arterioles. They enter the heart muscle, and nobody has checked them. They have got shrunk in size. So when you are doing this, you are treating that also. You are reducing the dryness from those small arterioles, and this is very common with people who have tobacco or those who smoke. Sometimes they don't have visible blockages, but the small arteries in the heart, they are affected. They have become narrow, and they are the ones which are reducing the blood supply, and that's why the person is having angina. Okay? So that part you will cure here. Also, you will increase the heat overall of the heart. That will improve the fat metabolism in that part, and you will be able to, heart will be using up more fat. Secondly, we have to treat the blockages. We are not those who say that, okay, collaterals have formed, now you can just relax. Your heart is now receiving blood somehow or the other, you relax. No, we want to cure the person of the blockages. That is the goal of this lecture. So how do you do that? In the correspondence system, the arteries correspond to which organ? Small intestine. So when you treat the small intestine, you can directly influence the arteries. So small intestine, what do? You sedate SI3, SI8 is sedated and SI3 is tonified. So SI8 is the earth point, the humidity point. You are sedating that and you are tonifying the wind point, that is SI3. Okay? And when you do that, you are removing directly the energy in the small intestine or in the artery, which is allowing the blockages to stay. See, our whole body, it works on the principle of energy, which is complemented by matter. So if you have humidity energy in your body, excess, you put on weight. Because they are of the same correspondence. Humidity is earth energy. And if you have earth energy in your body and you are eating more, then you will put on weight. Otherwise, there are many people who eat a lot and eat a lot of fat, but still are very thin. Right? Because they lack humidity energy or earth energy in their body. Is it clear? Same principle here. So if you remove the earth energy from the small intestine and replace it with wind energy, which helps to push it out, you are able to remove blockages. And this works. I have scores of patients on whom it has worked. No reason why it won't work for you. Right? Acupuncture is a perfect science. If it works for one person, it works for everyone. Okay? So also you can do other points like P6 because it helps to balance the energy in the chest. So they are supplementary points. Now there are some people. So general treatment. In general treatment,
This is done as well.
this is also done. I think I went back. Back. This is not done, right?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, last part is remaining here. In case of calcification of plaques, you sedate coldness from small intestine. So calcium deposition denotes that there is coldness in the small intestine, which if you remove and you tonify heat, you are able to remove even calcification from the plaques. And if a person has calcified plaques, which the report tells us, first work on this. First do this treatment, remove that, and then when that is done, then you move to removing the plaque itself.
Sir,
Yeah.
plaque to the tune of A3 type also can be treated with this. A1, A2, A3 types plaques are there. So A3 type total.
Can you elaborate what is A3 type?
A3 type is actually 80% of the artery is blocked by calcium.
98% blockages have been treated by me. 98%. So everything is possible. Also, what we need to do is we need to tonify liver, because as said that if there is overall fat in your blood and it keeps coming back into your arteries, when you are exercising, fat mobilization happens, it comes into your blood, and at that time if you have this the dryness, it will again lead to problem. So that's what happens. No? Sometimes people die while exercising. Now exercise is supposed to be good for you. Why should you die while exercising? Right? So because of this kind of thing, sudden fat infuses into the blood during some exercises, and then the person, if he is having the predominant condition of dryness, then it can happen. So now that is one thing. So we have to treat the liver. We can also spleen 6, spleen 3. Why this? Because spleen is an organ which metabolizes many various things, like it even destroys your RBCs. And when it destroys your RBCs, it releases a lot of fat. So a lot of fat gets released in your spleen. Now if the spleen is not able to contain this, if there is a problem with the spleen, then this fat is just released into the blood. And that raises your triglyceride levels a lot. I had a patient who had a level of something like 2000, unbelievable, 2000 triglyceride. And with medicine and all that, he had managed to bring it down to 800. And that's when he came to me. And after I realized what is his problem, through the pulse I understood that there was a problem in the spleen. And I treated the spleen and it came down to below 200. So it's very important. So we need to do all this understanding. Okay. So that was the acupuncture part. Now let us look at the diet and lifestyle part. So most worst enemy of the heart is the tobacco. Why? Because tobacco causes dryness. Generally, people think tobacco is mainly the cause of your oral ulcers and oral cancer. Tobacco cures cancer, but it can cause heart disease. No, sorry, cancer cures tobacco chewing, cancer cures smoking, not the other way around. Right? Cancer is the best cure for smoking. And for some people it doesn't. Some people continue till the end. So tobacco, because it causes dryness in the body everywhere, in fact, in the arteries especially, and microcirculation of the heart muscle gets compromised. So you have to avoid both fatty and dry foods, baked. Now, when there's all these fads about treating, reversing heart diseases started, a lot of people started saying, have fat-free, air-fried, whatnot. All these things were there. So basically that is something like baked. Even baked comes in the same category. But what we have seen that if you have dry things, what happens? Dryness develops. Dryness is the worst enemy. And some fat is required. Fat is not bad. So therefore, you need to avoid certain foods which are very fried, like especially the French fries. McDonald's. McDonald's?
Yeah, McDonald's.
That I'm like this, like
Yeah.
fries, French fries.
French fries.
They, yeah, what are they called? Cancer on a stick. They are nowadays, the nutritionists call them cancer on a stick. Cancer again is related to dryness. The cancers, the sarcomas and all are related to humidity. But cancers per se are related to dryness. So fried potatoes especially are very bad. So this even unfortunately a lot of people on fasting days eat these French fries, which is very bad. Fasting is supposed to be cleansing, but people end up messing up the whole body with using wrong foods. Yeah, now the shocker. Some people think that dry fruits and nuts are very, very important, and especially for you see old people and all having a lot of it. But why they are bad? Because they are dry. The name itself suggests that they are dry. If they are dry, how are they good for you? And especially stuff like walnuts. Nowadays there is some, I don't know where these people come from. They say it's very good for the brain because it looks like the brain. It is very good for the brain because it looks like the brain, but are you good for it? It is good for people who have got good circulation in the brain. It will help to improve your memory and other things. But if your circulation is compromised, this will make it worse, right? Because the dryness is going to just compromise your circulation more. Young students who are studying for exams, who are athletic in nature, who are doing everything to keep their health up, they can use this and become better. But if old people think that it's going to do good to them, then it's not true. It's absolutely, this will only aggravate the risk of Alzheimer. Yeah.
Soap dry omega 6 is there. Soap dry fruits.
Pardon?
Soap dry fruits also.
Yeah, like sir was saying, you have to be careful whom to give soap, whom not to give soap. If you already have dampness in your system,
About dryness.
if you have dampness in your system, you're adding dampness to it. So you're creating dampness which already it has fats. Then that dryness is not something that's going to go just by putting it in water. It may be less dangerous, but why to even do it? Yes, almonds, if you soak and you remove the cover, the dryness part goes away. Those can be had. Almonds are an exception which old people can have. After soaking and removing the skin, they can have. Somebody was asking about brain circulation, something. I hope this helps.
I was talking about omega 6 is, they say it is good for the heart. Omega 6.
Omega 3.
Omega 6 is the omega
3. Omega 3. Omega 6 is not good. We are coming to it. So, is that clear? You have to be very careful. This nuts and dry fruits are not always the best thing for you. So what is the best thing for you? Best thing is red grape juice. How is it best? Because it has got flavonoids. Now these flavonoids, they have the power to protect your heart muscles, improve their oxidization, improve the oxygenation, not oxidization. They are two different things. Oxygenation power increases if you have grape juice because of the chemicals known as flavonoids. Plus, grape juice is the red grape juice. I'm not talking of the green grape juice. I'm talking of the red grape juice. It is because it has got fire, so it combats dryness. So even if a person has little bit of angina or quite a bit of angina, you are treating him, but you can give a glass of grape juice to the person, and you see the difference. Immediately the angina will subside.
Even cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper is also very good.
What kind?
You can add it to the gravy.
मिर्ची असते एक मिरची जात आहे
Cayenne pepper.
शिवाय
Okay.
डबल एनी
So those are like short-term immediate benefits and even long-term. A person who has a heart blockages can be told to have red grape juice every day. It will help. It will help the person. They can have it just before going for their walks and all, so they'll be able to perform very well. The better they perform on the walks, the more they are able to increase the heart rate on the walks, the better the heart will be able to metabolize and completely destroy the fats which are blocking the arteries. So how do they do that? Like, if I'm like very hungry right now, I'm very hungry. I'm not hungry. Please don't order. But if I'm very hungry right now, I think this is a hotel which has got restaurants and stuff. If I'm very hungry, will I go to the restaurant of this hotel or will I go like somewhere far away to eat? What do you think? Here, no? All of you think thank good. All of you think I'm sane. Okay. So heart is also sane. So when the heart is hungry, will it ask for some fat from some calf muscle, behind the calf muscle somewhere, or will it take from around the coronary artery, the one which is blocking? Right? That's what it will do. So when you increase your heart rate, when you are doing your cardio, first thing what you'll do is metabolize all the fat which is around it. And that's what you want, right? You're not bothered about that little fat layer in your heel or something. You're bothered about what is clogging. All that clogs will start dissolving first because the heart wants it. It will metabolize it faster. And if you want to go beyond now, when we are discussing the 5-element cycle, sir, we are discussing the 5-element cycle, and sir was also explaining today that green leafy vegetables and all, what do they represent? Wind, wood. Yeah. Wood, and which is the mother of fire or heat. So these are the best things for the heart because they're the mother of the heart. If you eat this, they are going to strengthen your heart like anything. And how do they do that? Okay. So green leafy vegetables are rich source of folic acid.
Mike.
Green leafy vegetables are a rich source of folic acid, which lowers levels of homocysteine. Now, this homocysteine is actually the super villain. He is the Mugambo. So when you don't eat green leafy vegetables, what happens? Mugambo khush hua. Your homocysteine levels rise. When your homocysteine levels rise, what happens? Your heart endothelium gets all cracked up. So when your endothelium gets cracked up, what happens? Plaques happen. When plaques happen, what happens? Block happens. Block happens, what happens? Heart attack. Simple. So how do you prevent this? By eating green leafy vegetables. So simple.
Spirulina and moringa.
Spirulina, moringa, very good. Excellent sources.
Wheat glass.
Wheat grass, another excellent source. Very good. So homocysteine damages the endothelium of arteries, which not only leads to deposition of fat-causing plaques, but also greatly increases the risk of forming blood clots. So homocysteine increases the risk of blood clots also. Such a terrible villain. And what are the good sources? Spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, romaine, lettuce. These are the best sources. What else can we do? So what are the heart healthy cooking oils? Okay, so I remember in my childhood we used to have this postman ka dabba. How many have lived during those times? Yes. So I'm not the oldest person in the room. Okay, nice.
16 kg dabba.
You also. So it used to be a rectangular dabba made of tin.
Blue color.
Blue color. Wow. So that, and used to have a handle also. And those people used to bring like this.
15 kg.
I'm really surprised how many people are shaking. I'm really. I thought all of you are in your 20s.
Marbles. We used to store marbles in there.
Acha. Okay. So that dabba used to be of peanut groundnut oil. And during that time, those people used to have eat from that dabba. They used to get heart attack after 60 years of age and still survive. And then after somewhere around 70, 80, they would die. Because you have to die of heart attack. Na? God made you to die of heart attack. What do you think? And nowadays, after when I was doing my medicine or before that, this thing about, what is that? Saffola. Curdy oil. Saffola. Saffola came up. After that, rice bran. Wait. Saffola came up first. Saffola. When Saffola came, people started having heart attacks at the age of 40. And then they said, no, not enough. Let's do better. They got off rice bran. Mixture of Saffola and rice bran. Huh? Then people started dying at 20. Dying. While groundnut oil, people used to have heart attack at 60, die at 80. Now people die at 20. Sunflower is still better. Safflower is the one which was the main villain who started of the whole thing. And they had their own logic about this lowers this and lowers that or whatever. But the fact remains that more people started dying of heart attack because Saffola has got dryness. Saffola oil is dryness. Rice bran oil is dryness. People started dying for no reason because of a change of oil. So the other good oils, groundnut oil is of course very good. Extra virgin olive oil is very good. Mustard oil is very good. Mustard oil is not only not dryness, but it is actually anti-dryness. Groundnut oil is heat. Because of it is heat, it destroys dryness. But this mustard oil is to सीधा straight anti-dryness. Like some people are some anti-politicians. They don't care for any other party, but ये नहीं चाहिए. वो ऑप्शन अभी तक आया नहीं है. नोबडी का नोटा का ऑप्शन है. बट ऐसा भी ऑप्शन आना चाहिए कि कोई भी चलेगा ये नहीं चलेगा. I'll be the first to vote.
Sir, in this you mentioned coconut oil.
Sir, coconut oil. Sir.
Yeah, I'll explain. Thank you. I'm still continuing this. It's not over. I'm going to talk.
Sir, she's talking about coconut oil.
Yeah.
Coming.
So coconut oil is cold. Cold. Too much can be bad for the fire, but in limit it is fine. Unlike these other oils which I mentioned, the pro-dry oils, dryness oils, they are not good. Even in the regular amount they are bad. But coconut is still fine. But best thing is to have a mixture. What earlier days people were not having just one oil. They would have groundnut oil, they would have coconut oil. Now what happens is
Pure ghee.
pure ghee is also good, but again, like I explained earlier, too much ghee can also sedate your fire because ghee is cold. Ghee is cold. So people earlier would have a mixture of different oils, not just one oil. So coconut help would in summer season coconut was good because it is cooling. In winter season groundnut was good because it's heaty. And other seasons have a mixture. Neither this, neither that. So it would be balanced. What are the worst oils? Palm oil. We need nothing less than a revolution to get rid of this. Because I can tell you, once I walked into a store, a big store, and I was checking the labels of each and everything. I was hungry. So this store was just next to my clinic. So I went there and I was checking. I did not want for palm oil, but each and every product had palm oil. Even the so-called ghee laddu had palm oil.
It's cheap, na? It's cheap. It's very
No, but human life is not cheap, na?
Palm oil is imported from Malaysia.
Human life is the most expensive. People are willing to spend crores and crores of crores. So many big hospitals of crores are there to save humans. And on the other hand, you are giving people this poison. So if all of you are really serious, you should actually start a campaign, get together and start a campaign and get rid of palm oil. It is the worst oil for the heart. Even chocolate, exactly. In fact, I had gone to get chocolate only because I thought at least that won't contain palm oil, or even that contains. So other oils like cottonseed oil, rapeseed oil, soya bean oil. So these, what they happens is they are high in omega-6, and omega-6, the problem with omega-6 is that it is inflammatory. It causes inflammation in your body, even in your arteries. So it's not good because inflammation also can lead to destruction of the endothelium and the same thing what we have been talking about.
Till oil.
Till oil is good. It's very little more high in the earth element, so you have to not have too much of it. It is very good for massage for people who have vata problems. Little bit of, some till can be had as till during the winter season, but too much again is not good. But they are not bad. Palm oil is directly bad. Whichever season, whichever amount, it is directly bad. So there are other things like, omega-3 and omega-6 balance has to be there. You may have some omega-6, but it should be in this balance, 1 to 2 or 1 to 4, not more than this. So it's not like I'm telling you now just become totally strict, totally become so strict that you'll never eat anything outside, this, that, nothing like that. But make sure that you're eating a good amount of the good fats. Then little bit of bad fats are okay. They won't harm you. So then you have medicines like some homeopathic medicines, Cathegus, Oxycanthus and all, which, because I use this in my patients, so I tell them 8 drops 3 times a day. It also helps in dissolving the blockages and strengthen the heart muscle, which in turn again metabolizes the fat. Ayurvedic medicines like Arjuna Rishta and all that, they also strengthen the heart muscle. By helping the muscle, they help to metabolize the fat. Because the muscle, if it is stronger, it can use more fat and destroy it. Drakshasa is also effective. Now we come to an important part. I know most of you are not allopaths and would probably give a disclaimer. What medicine your doctor has given, continue that. I will do my job, let him do his job. and then whatever happens to you happens. So we have to know what is good, what is bad. You have to advise the patient. You cannot stop the medicine, but you can tell him that, look, certain things work contrary to what we are trying to achieve. So beta blockers, they were considered a boon at one time, because many people would have a heart attack when their heart rates were very high. So they are running, or they are shouting, whatever, and suddenly the heart rate increases and they get heart attack. And the doctors, the Western doctors said, okay, no, high heart rate is bad, let us get it down. Because people are getting heart attacks when their heart rates are going very high. Right? Why were they going, by the way, why were they getting heart attacks when the heart rates were going high?
Stress. Stress.
Because stress. How? What was happening on the physical level? So when the heart rates are very high, huh? that is no, but how does it actually cause a heart attack? That you have to know. So when the heart rates are going high, what happens? The pressure would also go high immediately. Pressure going high, they were already having unstable plaques, the irregular plaques. Blood force goes like this, crashes into the plaque, destroys it. Open endothelium, the endothelium lining gone, very rough patch. The platelets going and depositing and creating clot, and the person getting 100% blocked and finished. So to prevent this, beta blockers were being prescribed. Right? That was good intention. You think it's good intention? Of course it's good intention. Of course. Very good intention. But as they say, road to hell is paved with good intention. Right? So we have to see all the sides of a thing. Just because something helps in some place doesn't mean it's really good for everyone. For example, nowadays they are giving atorvastatin and all those statins to any person who has some history of even heart disease. Father died of heart attack, okay, you take atorvastatin. Arey Baba, my cholesterol is below 100. Why should I take? No, you should take. Better you take.
मेरे डॉक्टर ने तो नरूला बोल के बोलते you need to take it.
By surname.
हाँ भाई सर ने, क्योंकि मेरे फादर को था तो मेरे को भी बोलो.
So medicine is hereditary. So these beta blockers, what they do, they reduce your heart rate. And what I was saying some time back, heart rate increase will metabolize more fat. So low heart rate will metabolize less fat. You want to treat that person, you want to remove his blockages. So you want him to reduce his fat metabolism? Yes? No? Obviously not. So yes, in certain cases where a person may be having resting heart rate above 100 or so, above 100, and it goes very high, 160, this, that. Such cases, of course, beta blockers are good because it will keep him safe if you are doing other things. But if your patient is already having a very reasonable heart rate, something like even 80, although 72 is normal, you don't have to bring him down to 60 by giving him beta blockers. If you are doing that, you are messing up his heart. Right? You need to know this. So see your patient's heart rate. And if it's going below, to such lower level, below the normal, then tell him, please tell your doctor to lower this or stop it. Right? So other nutritional supplement, like I was saying, what is it? Bile, the fats are basically, they are emulsified by bile salts, and so you can also use them to lower your levels in your blood. If they are, especially now, at one point we are saying that it is covered with endothelium, but what if it is not completely covered? Right? A problem is when it's not covered. If it's covered, it causes some narrowing. When it's not covered, it causes clots. The plaque If it is not covered by the endothelium, it can cause clots, right? If it is covered by the endothelium, it causes a blockage because it's covering. So, how do we know who is covered, who is not covered? There might be people who are having cracks in the endothelium above the plaque, and in such people, if they are giving bile salts, that can help to dissolve some of the plaques, right? So you should use it. No harm in using. Soluble fiber in food can bind to cholesterol, and overall you can reduce that if it is high. If it is not high, you should not do it, because cholesterol is not a demon. Cholesterol is important for the body. In fact, the liver produces something like 70% of all the cholesterol in the body. Because cholesterol is a nutrient for the body. It is required of the body for production of various hormones. It's required even for the production of vitamin D. Many people, thin people, fat-free diets, go and sit in the sun and say that I am sitting in the sun for 2 hours, I'm not getting any vitamin D. चेक करना पड़ेगा, सन में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो गया. You don't have the basic raw material in your body. You can sit for 4 hours, nothing is going to happen. So you need it. Yeah. So emotional factors, the most important. Among everything, this is the most important. Watching sad movies, sad stories should be avoided. Patients should remain cheerful at all times. So then, heart disease is no more a clinical problem, it's a social problem. So domestic environment should be good. The political environment should be good. If necessary, counseling should be resorted to correct disorders in thinking. Sometimes, without any reason, some people are sad. You are living in a palace. Your husband is so good, or your wife is so good, and still you're sad. For what? What is the reason you're sad? Yeah. So wheat grass should be given. So such people need to have counseling to get their mental the thinking in order. I mean, no other treatment, all your treatment will not work otherwise. It will work for a short time, not it will not work, it will work for a short time. And again the person, because causative factor is not removed. Causative factor is here, in the thinking. Thinking is so bad, it is creating an emotion of sadness. Sadness is the root cause of heart disease. So how much ever you treat, you'll get temporary result. So we don't want temporary results. If you wanted temporary results, we would have done allopathy, no? Why would have come here? Right? That gives good and temporary results. So you need to treat a patient on the highest possible level. What is the root cause? Find the root cause, understand your patient's problem, where is the dryness coming from, and treat it. So this is a new research finding.
Oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, has a hidden, powerful ability. It can regenerate damaged heart tissue. Published in Frontiers in Cell and Developmental Biology, the study was led by Dr. Ader Aguirre, assistant professor of biomedical engineering, who found that oxytocin stimulates specialized cells in the heart's outer layer, called epicardium-derived progenitor cells, or EpiPCs, to transform into stem-like cells capable of repairing heart muscle. In zebrafish, known for their remarkable ability to regenerate organs, oxytocin levels in the brain increase 20-fold just days after heart injury. That surge travels to the heart, triggering EpiPC activation and the regrowth of heart tissue. Aguirre's team then replicated the effect in human tissue cultures, proving that oxytocin can double the rate at which human cells transform into heart-repairing progenitors. No other hormone, out of 14 tested, had the same effect. and when oxytocin receptors were blocked, the regeneration stopped entirely. This work highlights the role of the TGF beta signaling pathway, a key regulator in cell growth and migration. While more trials are needed, Dr. Aguirre believes that repurposing oxytocin, or designing longer-lasting versions, could someday help human hearts recover after a heart attack. Not through surgery, not through implants, but with the very hormone that connects us.
So what do you think?
Love rocks.
Can I add?
Yeah.
One of my Bhabi's brother had a heart attack in Germany. So he went, because this is what I'm connecting it to this. So my real Bhabi, her brother, was in Berlin. Okay, her Jija owned one of the biggest hospitals in Amritsar, and the children are in Mayo Clinic. So you can imagine it's all a family of doctors only. So he suffered a heart attack in Berlin. He went to the hospital. They put him there. They put in the stents. After the hospital, they sent him to a sanatorium for 1 month on government cost to live happily, and that is how they included जैसे आपने बोला ना oxytocin. So that happiness factor is included in the treatment protocol on government cost in Germany.
Wonderful. Very good. So this is how important our emotions are, not just to prevent but also to cure. So we need to have very positive emotions, joy, love. All these things are very most important for the heart. And if you are treating a person with chronic situations in his life, which just don't allow him to be happy or to be loved, then this can be an impediment in your treatment. Our treatment works very nicely, but our treatment as our duty as doctors is also to remove the impediments or make the person aware of the impediments. Even self-awareness, even being aware of what is actually causing the problem, not what is eating so much, but what is living. So that is so important. If a person is aware, he can adjust his mind in a way that he can overcome the situations of life which are being impediments in the cure.
Q10.
Yeah. So Q10, the thing is, it helps in improving the metabolism of all the cells, improves your energy levels. Obviously, it is very good for the heart also because it will improve the functioning of the heart muscle. And
Mitochondria.
anything that improves the functioning of the heart muscle will indirectly also reduce the fat in the heart, deposition in the heart. So other things what can be done which not only influence the blockages but also the mind is the different yoga and exercises. Nadi Shodhan Pranayam, as its name itself suggests, it is to clear blockages. Right? Nadi Shodhan means to clear the channels. So obviously it is helpful. Like as per yoga, Ayurveda and all, even arteries come under channels. It's a broad term that explains that even anything through which something flows is a channel, is a nadi. So yogasans like Sarvangasana, Chakrasana, Ardha Matsyendrasana. In Sarvangasana you find it is an inverted posture, so it increases the blood flow to the heart directly. Chakrasana, if it is the Chakrasana where you are expanding, going back, you are opening your heart chakra completely. So in that sense, you're stretching your heart. Your heart gets stretched, and when you want to remove something is stuck, some rubbery thing or is stuck, and you pull like this, sometimes it just gets torn and thrown away. So like that, different ways, if you can just stretch your body, stretch your different organs, that helps to remove blockages also. Ardha Matsyendrasana is in which you are twisting your body now. So that also in a different way stretches certain arteries in your heart, and it can also help.
That's the spiral network system, no? Professor Park did that spiral network system.
Yeah. So gradual increase in walking. I had patients who would come to me, I cannot walk more than 5 steps. So you can't tell him from today you go start walking 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers. You can't. So gradual increase. You can walk 5, walk 6. When you can't, sit down. Again start walking. Like that, improve your gradual increase. And what I have seen is, with my acupuncture, with the treatment which I just mentioned just now, within about 3 days, person goes out of danger. Even if he has come with a high blockage. With this treatment, because initial part is very fast. Towards the later part, things become slow as the body gets a little more used to the acupuncture, or because that part being for a longer time is more difficult. What has come later goes first. So the later part gets treated very faster. So within 3-4 sessions, a person is able to do his normal routine activities without living in the fear of having a heart attack any moment. Right. So aerobic exercises, like what we mentioned, all important. Aerobic is the very important word here. You cannot have a person exercising in a completely oxygen-free atmosphere and completely airtight atmosphere. AC is on, but not all ACs have got ventilation. This one has. This AC has ventilation, but the routine, split ACs, they don't have it. So there, if you require, you should leave your window slightly open. Because when you are doing exercise, especially a person with a heart disease is doing exercise, oxygen is very important to him. If he starts exercising in a room which is completely airtight, it is going to create deprivation of oxygen to the heart and it can fail anytime. So very important, he exercises in a well ventilated room and gradually. Different types of exercises, all these exercises help in stretching the heart itself and also stretching the meridians which are responsible for, which are related to the heart. You all know where the heart meridian is. So different exercises which are going to stretch that. So this is your heart meridian. So all the exercises, all these which are stretching the meridian will also help. Even push-ups is supposed to be very good for the heart muscle because it is pumping. This meridian gets well pumped when you're doing push-ups. So all the different exercises, what you can see, they can be very useful. Important thing is there should be gradual increase in exercise, not suddenly. And so when you start a patient on these treatment, this kind of a treatment, within a matter of 3 to 4 months of alternate day treatment, that is twice a week, patient actually comes out of danger in 4 days itself, but the treatment needs to be continued for at least 2 to 3 months at least. Because the heart becomes normal in a very short time. Within a month or so, the person becomes like he doesn't have any problem within a month. But the fat which was there in the heart, much of it goes to the liver. So the heart pulse becomes normal, liver pulse starts showing abnormality. And unless you take your treatment where you finish and make the liver normal, the patient is not, you should not let go of the patient. Patient sometimes think they are done and they leave you, which is bad for the patient. But you need to treat even the liver, because otherwise that fat comes back in the circulation and it can again, if the person's lifestyle or his situation has continued to give him dryness of the heart, then it can again occur. So your treatment has to be for a certain level of time. So within 3 months, your angiography will show reversal of blockages. You can see over here. The first one is showing 90% blockages on the left side and 95% on the right. Second one is saying 75 on the right and almost nothing on the left. this kind of results are possible, and you can all achieve it. So what's the moral of the story? Somebody wants to sing? Any songs? So most important is keep your heart happy. What is that? All is well. All is well.
Smile more. Sir, smile more.
Smile. So keep your heart, give your heart to God, He'll keep it safe for you. Thank you. So I have 5 minutes for questions. My time ends at 4. 5 minutes I can answer. After that we can have questions round.